Good evening, everybody. It's Doug, Rod, and Kim for our weekly webinar. And I just have one announcement. I was supposed to have some news, but I don't really have any just yet. Hopefully before too long I will. The one thing I did want to mention was that about the middle of October, Cliff had mentioned that all versions of OTP prior to Phantom are most likely going to be removed from your locus ware control panel. So people aren't confused and people will come in as new members going, which of these versions should I use? And so if you're doing anything with the previous versions, my advice would be to get it done and get moved over to OTP Phantom. Most of the people using it will tell you that it's easier to use, it's way, way faster, and pretty much just better all around than any of the previous versions. Every version has been a major step up, as most people will attest to you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kim, and she can do Know Your Niche. Or was that?
Actually, we're going to start off with the affiliate page layout example.
All right, I messed up. I'll give it over to Doug and let him proceed with affiliate page layout example.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully good. I'll try and get through this as quick as possible, but there's a lot of things to cover. Basically, what I did, let me bring up Firefox, is I went out to good old ClickBank, and I said, oh, I'll see if I can do an affiliate product for dogs. I like dogs, so I thought that would be a good topic. So I typed in dog and did a search, started looking through, and I can see that a lot of it has to do with dog training, this, that training. So obviously that's a big category in the dog niche. As I scrolled down, I kept looking for something that might be a little more unique and not sort of be muddled in with everything else. And then I came across this one here where it's how to house train and potty train any dog. So I decided to go have a look at the website. Ugly as sin. It's just a plain old style looking landing page, nothing too exciting, no video, no nothing. But I thought, well, you know, it's not bad. It's cute. It has a good topic. All I really need to do is to make a short video to help with it, and I can put that on my OTP site. So I just grabbed some of the odd line off of right out of the text here, and whipped up a quick little video in PowerPoint, and so that worked out really well. So now setting up for my page, I'm going to show you the page I did last week that just had the button on it, and you could see the header image in behind, and everybody was asking lots of questions about how do I do that and so on. So tonight I'm going to sort of give you an example of how to do this and then add a video to it as well. So I'm going to get rid of that now because we don't need it. First thing is, I don't know whether all of you have a screen capture program that will capture a whole page or whatever. I have this awesome screenshot add-on to Firefox that I use all the time. I also have it on Chrome as well. It's a handy little utility. There's a lot of them available. Find one that you like. But basically, I just like to get my screen nice and large, click on this, and I want to capture the entire page. Click on that. There it goes, grabbing the whole page. Then it'll open up a new tab. And here's my image. And if we zoom out a little bit, you'll see that I got a lot of the page there. So it's pretty long, as you can see. We don't really need anything quite that long, but it'll work. So I'm not going to do any editing to it. I'm just going to say done. Here's the page again. Pretty simple, easy to do. Click save. I will put that in my pictures. I have a little button in here that I grabbed for my clickbait. So now remembering how we like to name everything, how to house train any dog. No capitals, no spaces, no nothing, just bing. And we save that image. So that's how we grab our header image. Now, I'll just reduce that back down again and get it out of the way. You may remember this site from last week, Tiny PNG. It's a real nice, quick, easy way to optimize and compress your images. So we'll go to here, my pictures. And I'm going to grab both the button and the page that I just grabbed. I'm going to drag them both across to here. Even though the button was a small image, as you can see, it was only 54K. It reduced it down to 10K. So it still shaves off a heck of a lot. This was 1.2 megabytes and now it's only 420K. Normally what I would do is just open it up in my editor and probably cut half of it off just to make it even smaller, but this will work pretty good for here. 420K is not that large. So I'm going to download each file, put that in my pictures, and I'll just add on the end of the name -opt, save, grab this one. So that's my button, -opt, and save. And so now that's all compressed. So I don't need that anymore either. We got our buttons. We don't need any of this for right now. We need to come back here. So I'm going to have a quick look. Any questions with regards to what I did there? I see Kim's answered. It was awesome screenshot that I used. There are a lot of screen capture plugins for both Chrome and Firefox. So just find one that you feel comfortable with and use it. I kind of liked Awesome Screenshot because it allows me to grab a portion of the page, the whole page, whatever I'm trying to do. So it's just handy. Okay, so I've never seen. Okay, good, perfect. So now you know how I got the images. We've optimized them to make them smaller. Now I've went through yesterday after I found that, and I created a simple sheet here in Notepad++ with all my information on it. One thing I want to note is here's the link I got from ClickBank. And I just want you to notice this part on the end. I don't know whether that's too small. Let me, I think it's here. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. This part here where it's got the question mark TID, this is something that you can create. It allows you to put a code on the end of any of your URLs. And then if you start getting click-throughs to ClickBank, it's going to show me the click-throughs for each of these. So if you had your 10 sites, maybe you build 20, whatever it happens to be, you could slightly alter them, like OTP, dog01, dog02, so on and so forth. It allows you to keep track of which site is producing the traffic for you. It doesn't do anything different than that on the other end. It just allows you to do a little bit of analytics as to which sites are producing. So just to save a little time, I've copied all that information over here. And what I need to do now is to select an overlay color. So as you saw, it was sort of blue, so I'll find something that might look good. How about Dodger blue? Sounds interesting. And clickbait image, go to my pictures. I can train any dog, they're PNGs, so I gotta do that. I want the one that says .opt on the end there. So I've set that. I come over here. Now, as I mentioned before with the header image, I don't want people to be able to scroll. I just want them to see the header image as it is on their screen. So I turn the scroll off. So that would be the first thing I do. And then when we create the site and we bring it up in the browser, they'll see the top part of the web page, but they can't scroll down past it and see all the other text that we have below it. Then I want to select a header image. So we go back to here and the optimized one, put that in there. Now, because I've got the page in behind, I don't mind things showing, so I could even reduce that down to 75% width. And what I want to do here is the opacity. I'm going to say choose 6, and we'll see how that works. That might be something you play around with where you do several runs just to have a look. But I find 5 or 6 seems to be a pretty good balance for me to have where they can see through a little bit. Our video is going to be blocking most of it anyhow, so it doesn't really matter too much. And then I want to include the video I made. Oh, got some questions. Okay, okay, Rod's answering, good. Want to put a video in here, so let's bring this back up. I do have that already put here, but here's the actual video URL. So what you do is you go to where you've uploaded it on YouTube. And here comes my crazy little video that I made up. And what you want to do is come to the share button here. So we click on that. The first button shows embed. So I click that. And this up here is your embed code. Now, if you scroll down just a little bit, we'll see what's down here. There are a couple of options you can do, whether you want to show the player control or whatever. I don't use the privacy enhanced mode, but the show player control options, you can turn that off if you want. I like to leave it on because some people don't always want to watch a video right away, and then they might want to stop and come back and do it again. They may even want to go to your YouTube channel, which is fine if you've got lots of other videos there. So it's a good thing for me, as far as I'm concerned, just to leave it. So what you want to do is you want to come up and you want to grab all of this. Copy it. And that's really all we need YouTube for at this point. So we can say bye-bye to that. I've pasted it here, but let's go right into here and paste it in there. So now we've got our video embed code now put into Phantom. So I'll come back to the front. As we always like to do, go save, make sure we save all our information. And I always like to, well, that's not that one, have a peek at what I'm doing here. Those are both the same, so view projects. Okay, so my images are there. I feel happy. They're in the upload. That always gets moved, created and moved over when you click on these buttons. So that's there. I have run this before so that we don't have to waste time while it's collecting all the content. I did save the raw content file here, so I'm going to click, whoops, that's the clickbait image. Now I gotta go do that again. Pictures. Sorry, click the wrong button. You can tell it's live. Okay, this is the one I want down here where I'm going to use existing content. So I click on that. Tells me I can select it. I go to my projects in here, raw content, and save. Always save. Make sure you save everything. Don't want to lose anything. Okay, at this point, I've got it set to, I'm going to be putting it into the root of my domain. I've got my affiliate link in here. I've got a project name, my keywords, all my titles are here. I have 432 titles. I'm only going to do it single tonight just because for time issues. Otherwise, it would take a little bit of time to do up 186. So that's basically all we've got to do. So I'll often come here and click on preview, and that makes sure that I've selected the right button, I've got the right video, and I've got the right header image. Things are looking up. So I'm happy with my selections. I know that we've got the right things set up in Phantom. So we click the generate. And we can open up the uploads folder and we can see all the files. And we're done. So we're going to come across here, and I've got my cPanel all set up. I just like using cPanel. It's a little bit bigger. When I do certain things, I always use FileZilla, so it's just a matter of what you feel comfortable with when you're doing something. I like this right now for demonstrating for you folks because it's a little bit easier to see and read. I'm in my public HTML, which is the root of my domain. I have files already here. Now I was going to clean this up and get rid of it ahead of time, just so that we could do this a little cleaner and easier. But I wanted to show you this old site that I've got in here. I did it on November 1st, doing one of these demos for you. And if you'll have a look at all these pages. Now I've done nothing to kickstart this or index it or anything. Look at it. So November 4th, they came around. November 5th, they came around. November 6th, 7th, 8th. Now, what you can do to check your files is the last modified. When you click on that, it's now showing me all my files where I created it was November 1st. Now you see where the crawler started coming was on the 4th. And the 4th was the big day. Did a big crawl there. And then it started on the 5th. Started crawling there. Then the 6th. So it just shows you don't have to do a whole heck of a lot. And the spiders seem to find you. So don't sweat too much when you're figuring that you're not getting much in the way of indexing going on. These things find you. I don't know how they do it, but they sure seem to get there. So let me just pop out and back again. I want to go ahead and get rid of this whole thing. So we're going to clean out from there down to here and right click, delete. And one thing I'll say too is it seems like a lot of people are so worried about deleting things. Who cares? They're going to come back and they'll find something new and get all excited about that. So don't get too excited about deleting anything. It's not going to hurt your website. Google's not going to get upset at you. They're not going to stop looking at your pages. They're going to come back and say, oh, there's been some changes here. Things are new. So never worry about that. Just go ahead and I mean, I'm not really worried about this site. As you can see, LW-demo, it's only a demo site for what we're doing here, but I do this on my other domains as well. It's never really affected them, as I still get my pages ranking and everything. So don't worry. Go in, do things, play around, delete it, start all over again. Just keep practicing. It's always best. So now what we want to do is we want to upload the site that we've got. I go into the upload, come over here, grab all my files, drag across, and up they go. Looks like they're already there. Don't need this anymore. Refresh, and I have a new website. So let's open this up. See what we got. lw-demo.xyz. There's my header image, there's my video, and there's my button. I got no scroll bar here. I'm spinning the wheel on my mouse. Nothing's going up and down, so I can't get underneath this image and see any of the text that's there. I can go ahead and play my video whenever I want. I left all the controls up here so that people can do whatever they'd like to do on it. And as you see, like I said, I only did this with PowerPoint, and I tried to hit on a few of the quick and easy things. I used words and highlighted them that would help them to push to try and go click a button somewhere. Do you want? Yeah, I want. What do I want? I want a fully potty trained dog. Right? So do a little bit of marketing in your video. It's really easy to do. If I stop this, you can tell right from the page where I was getting it from. You know, some of these points I bring up. Of course, most people like to have a byline. That was the very first line I used. Do a little bit of marketing. This is what it's all about. Get your user excited with your video. As far as I'm concerned, if you do a video correctly, they're going to go to that page, they're going to see the beginning of it quickly, and they're going to skim to the bottom and hit the buy button because you did the selling here. So just really think hard about what you're doing on a video. Just hit the top points. Don't make it long. This is only a minute long, and I'm just using PowerPoint, so it couldn't be any easier, and exporting it to a video. I've got some music in the background. What does everybody want? A fully housebroken dog. Let's do this quickly. Push that button. So I push the button. We saw the page load up behind, and now I've got the page right here to do my ordering. Yep. Oh, he's already talked to me about this. Okay, let's go to the bottom and press the button. I want it. Okay, and that's as quick and easy as it is to set up one of those sites with your header image in the background, a video here, your clickbait button is on the bottom. So that is really all there is to creating a simple but pretty effective affiliate product site. This is also how I would typically do a website for my local lead gen clients. As you saw the plumber one before, where you've got a picture of their web page in behind. Then I would have a little video on the top that would be going through explaining their services, their highlights, maybe a quick clip from the owner himself if I can get it. And then again with the button to take them right through to a particular page, or if that's what I'm working on, or the main site itself. I don't. One thing you should also do is this is a landing page we're going to. So it's one page. That's all that's on the site. There's no confusion. It's for that product. I see too many people creating their OTP sites. Somebody clicks the button and they end up on like a store, and it's like, where do I go? So if you can, take them to a page on the store, or take them to a landing page you've created for that product. See, even once they get in a store, oh, there's buttons. Oh, what happens if I click this? What do I click? Then they get lost. Where was I? Forget it. I don't want it anyhow. So if you can try and make it as simple as possible so that when they make that click, they're on what you're talking about and they got nowhere else to go but to the bottom and click that buy button. Okay? So those are a few little marketing tips that you should do with your OTP sites to try and make them a little more effective for getting some conversions. A few people had some problems with conversions, so hopefully some of these ideas will help you. Okay. Do local geo sites get indexed and ranked faster? They get indexed just like any other site does. Do they get ranked faster? That's going to all depend. Just like any other topic that you're going to pick, it's going to depend on the competition that's in your niche. Choosing your niche is very important. As you saw when I was going through ClickBank, I wonder if I can bring that. My ClickBank page, where is it? A new close tab. I'm going to get there eventually. I quickly had a look at, I got everything but ClickBank, don't I? Here it is. So I went through all these topics and I bypassed a lot of them. I kind of know the dog niche a bit. That's another good point too, is when you're picking a niche, especially at the beginning, pick something you know, because you can make quicker decisions on what you have to do. If I didn't know anything about the dog niche, I'd now have to sit down and probably do 3-4 hours of good research on the dog niche to get a good feeling about what it's about, what's in it, what's competitive, what's not. I know dog training straight up is fairly competitive, but house training, house breaking dogs, I thought, well, that would be kind of an interesting one to play around with. So that's why I felt it might be a little bit different, a little bit easier. Somebody gets a puppy, first thing they want to do is they want to learn how to house break their dog, house train their dog. The other thing is learning all the terms that you want to go, and Kim's going to get a lot more of that. So picking your niche is really important. And really, I think I've come to the end of everything I can say about the example here. So I'm going to...
That was good, Doug.
Drop my...
Nice. Nice job, Dougie, by the way. One thing that you used an acronym for was that tracking ID from your from ClickBank. You just call it a TID. So in case people didn't realize, I just wanted to spell out for them that that's what that is when you see it on ClickBank, they give you an opportunity to create a tracking ID, and you can create a separate one for each site or project, and that would allow you to know right away which domains are performing the best.
Okay, Kim, did you want to throw your screen up?
Yeah, there it goes.
I'm not sure who our Hazen is. The note you've got there, that's probably something you want to try and PM either Kim or myself, or send in a support ticket, and we'll work on that with you together. And not really something we can deal with right on a webinar.
Doug, how long typically until webinar replay is available? Usually within an hour or two.
Yeah, usually within an hour or two. Just go back to your registration link if you haven't already received an email from the webinar system. If this is your first time on, the webinar system will send you an email, and it'll have a link, a special link for you that'll sign you right in. But if you want to just go back to the registration link that we've posted in the group, that'll also get you there, and you just have to sign in again and have access to the webinar, the replay. Okay, Kim.
Can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you, and we can see the tunnel of horror.
Hypnotizing. What I decided to do with the Know Your Niche is one of the packs that Marty put out the other day was on driver rollator. And so we looked that up because didn't know that name. And what it is, it's another name for walkers, the walkers with the wheels. And that's what I've always called them, is walker with wheels. Well, if I was picking that niche, I would have missed a lot of possible sales because I had no idea what a rollator was. And there's a lot of people that do use that term. So we're going to be talking about know your niche. So you need to research your niche and see the different things that people call whatever it is you're trying to promote. And what I did, I started out with the walker. When I just put walker in there, you get people with the names of walkers, the walker lawnmowers, and all kinds of things. So I thought, well, let's put mobility walker in there in quotes. And then, so I got a much better selection this time to tell me about the different ones. And I have keywords everywhere, so that's what you see over here on this side. You can get it on either browser. And if you go to Wikipedia, that'll give you more ideas on different things that they are called, or different models of whatever it is you're promoting. And this is where the rollator comes from.
A walker with wheels.
Yes, and that's what I've always called them, these walkers with wheels. And I've had experience with these and a lot of people in my family. So that's something that you also need to think about in your niche too, is, you know, how, what is the consumer value of it? And a lot of people have these, and I don't think they're going to go away anytime soon, because people are always going to be getting older, and they also are used for different disabilities, and even little kids have these. And so you can even look at different markets that use these, and why do they use them, and market those people. And here's just rollator. So I was looking through, you know, all the different things that they're called. Here is a review site that has a lot of different walkers, and you see the even different names for them. This will give you ideas what you can put in your keyword tools as well. And Google Trends, sometimes you will get different things that people are looking up. It doesn't just tell you the trend of the word, but sometimes down here, it will give you different, like say, long tail keywords to look for. Rollator, walker with seat, transport chair. And I found a lot of, when looking through all this, I found a lot of searches for parts. So even that would be a good sub niche to go after. The accessories and the parts for these, with a lot of searches for them. So these are the things you need to find out for your niche. If you can attack it more than one way, then that makes a good niche. Okay, that's this one's the driver rollator. And that's what that package was called, drive rollator. So it's got a few different names, and people search for them in different ways. See, this has 815,000 results. A lot of times if you put something, what you're searching for in quotes, you end up, 9 searches, that's even lower. Let's try drive. Okay. So just this exact keyword, it's only 15,100 results for that. So that would be, and it is searched quite a bit. So this would be a good one to go after. And this is a company that makes them or sells them. So I went on here because I was looking at the different categories they have: 4-wheel, rollators, 3-wheel, all the different ones that you could also use in your keyword research and niche targeting. I saw one of the searches people did was Hugo versus drive rollators. So I looked that up, and Hugo's a brand name, which when we're doing Phantom, our OTP sites, we target other, all the company names and manufacturers and that to draw people who might type those in, that they might come to our site and see what we have. And this is answer the public, because we want to know what people are searching for, what they're asking about it. And so there's questions. I just put rollator in there, and you can see there's how, can, will, where, which, what, people asking questions. So these are good keywords, long tail keywords that you can use for your titles. And this was just a can for, to, near. You can get lots of ideas, comparisons, one brand versus another brand, or one type of walker versus another type. These are all good, would be good title, long tail keywords. Related. So there's different rollator products that you could target also. And that's all that shows. I was doing well, what's that other one? Oh, LSI graph. That was giving me some good LSI words too. So when you, let's see, when you go up here, take out these quotes. Now see all these LSI words, all these down here, that's what the LSI graph was giving you. But I didn't know, they must have changed things that you only get 3 searches and then you have to pay for it. So I used up my 3 searches earlier, so I can't show you that part. But these are the LSI terms here. Okay, where did I leave off here? So I was talking about looking for different people with disabilities have these. You could target these different ones, and so I looked up just put a rollator for MS and looked through here and found a PDF, a link to a PDF about it. So I went over there, and you can use these different bullet points for either your keywords or your content and give people what they're looking for. And they're answering their concerns is more like it. So like walkers and rollators can provide stability when you walk. And even your clickbait, you want when somebody comes there, like if you had the clickbait with the rollator on it, you're going to want to tell them, well, this can help you be stable, help you stand up straight, reduce your falls and answer their concerns. And people are going to be more apt to click on your little link there to get more information, or to, when they want to purchase one, if they know that you know what you're talking about. Because stuff like this, if you don't know what you're talking about, somebody's going to know, and they're, just going to leave your site. So you want to make yourself not an expert, but just, read up on your niche and know who's searching for it and why they're searching for it. And the keywords. I also, after I did the answer the public, I went, some of us has got Question Spy, which we really like because it has the commercial intent. So this is a list of keywords that I got from the Question Spy: where to get a rollator, where to buy a drive rollator, where to buy used rollators. So it's people who are looking to buy. And so if you haven't got Question Spy, you might want to check that out. And Rod's got a link if you need one. But it's very, very useful. And then I also ran our keyword tool in LinkSwarm. And I got, with the driver rollator, I got 527 keywords. But I also found, this is how I ended up looking what that Hugo was. And this is the Hugo drive rollator. So somebody has typed that in searching. So, and it gives you some other keywords to go look for. Drive rollator travel bags. So that would go under your accessories. And some of them are looking for brakes. And so there's different aspects that you could also approach, which is something that would be very helpful if you get a niche with different legs on it, I guess you could say. Doug, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, basically you've covered everything there, Kim. It's just making sure that you understand your niche so that you know what you're going after. Know that whether it's going to be a worthwhile niche to get involved with, number one. Number two, is it going to be highly competitive? If it is, then you might want to look for a smaller sub-niche, right? So there's many ways of looking at niches, but most importantly, you saw with what Kim showed you here today with rollators. I never knew that word the other day until I saw this. And yet I could have, it's very popular online. There's a lot of searches on it, but I would have totally missed that as a keyword if I was doing walkers, because that's all I thought they were called. So it's very important to not only look for keywords, but try to understand your niche in such a way that you know the words that are used within, the synonyms that would be used for the objects, the services, whatever you're going to be providing. Did you have any more there that you wanted to show, Kim?
Well, that was it.
If you want to pass it back to me, I'll show. I know a lot of you have been seeing those niche packs that Marty's been dropping by. It's from a place called Niche Vista, and inside the Drive Rollator niche pack they've got, they go through all kinds of things about top 50 and rollator walkers. They give you the sources where they found it. They go through the niche growth and monthly searches. Get a full chart here on organic search, looking for volume and so on. They show you the top sites. I mean, you can get a pretty quick overview of everything that's here. They give you a lot of the keywords with the number of searches and so on here. You want to come down here, they'll show you first top 1,000 keywords that Google gave you, top 1,000 Bing gives you, top Yahoo suggestions, YouTube suggestions. How about, as Kim was saying, that question spy, you want Google question type keywords? Open that up. It's all full of them. So they're kind of, this gives you an idea of the type of work that you should be looking at doing when you're looking at all the analysis of your own niches. You've got to keep going through here. It shows you all the different affiliate programs you can get involved with them. Okay, so do understand there should be a little bit of thought goes into the niche that you're choosing. Try not to make it too broad or the competition's too difficult to go after. Try and niche yourself down to a point where you've got a good profitable niche, but with less competition so it's easier to get found. That's going to be how you're going to get faster results. And that's about all I had to say about it, Kim.
All righty. We'll hand it back to you.
Okay. If we haven't put everybody asleep, I was going to go on to the really exciting topic of, oh yes, SSL again. Last week I tried to show quickly how to set up a site so that it was HTTPS. All right, I created a site today. We can see it here. Let me open up sitemap here. Whoops. Grab a couple of links. Pop them in here. As you can see, when I set it up, it's only HTTP. No lock, no HTTPS. Even though the domain itself has a cert, I'm only showing raw links. So let me grab a few more of these and I'll go click. And there's another one, and we'll do 3 just so we got a few pages for examples here. So of course, after we did our way on how to do it, everybody wants to know, how do I change what I've already got? The quickest and easiest way is to do as I did earlier tonight. Go in here, wipe this out, and start all over again. If I reload this, you can see now I've got a few pages starting to show because these are ones that I was clicking on. All right, so I've got a few pages in there. In a case like this, I would wipe out this site. I would come back to Phantom, come right to the advanced options. I'd go clone existing project, how to house train dog, click. How to house train any dog -HTTPS. There. So that would be my project name. And where I'm going to put it now is https://lw-demo.xyz. So now I've got my HTTPS. Go click. Clone complete. I can now go load project. There it is with the HTTPS. Go back in, set my details. But you notice now up here it shows HTTPS. So I can go in, set up my color that I want to use. I think it was Dodger Blue. Clickbait image. Go to my pictures. Done. Come to the back. Make sure my page scroll is there. Still got my video, so I'm good there. Select my header image. Back to this. Click that. Come back to the front. Go save. And my project is all set up and ready to go. So everything is changed to HTTPS. All I need to do is upload that new folder in my project folder here. Upload. I've got it all. So my first step then would be to come to here. We're going to do the nasty and make that all disappear and load it back. And that's all you have to do to update. The problem comes for some people where they're starting to see traffic and they've got pages that are now well entrenched and indexed and getting a lot of traffic, and they don't want to lose these things. So now what do? They don't want to just delete all those good pages that are actually getting results for them. So what they want to do is, again, if I showed you that trick with clicking on the last modified and then click it a second time, all your pages are created after all your other files. So they're now all going to be at the top. So if I had 1,000 here, 10,000, whatever it happens to be, they'd all be above all my site pages. So there's a quick and easy way to find them all without all these interspersed between. So then what you want to do is right-click on them once you've selected them, go compress. I want to zip archive, and I want to call it, not the name of my page, but Host train .zip is good enough for me. Compress the file. If you had thousands, it's going to take a little while. In this case, it only took a few seconds because I only had the 3. And there's my zip file. This is when I will often come to FileZilla. I'm going to stop for a second because I see a lot here coming up on the questions. Okay, what does HTTPS mean? It means that you actually have a secure connection between the website and your computer. It is encrypted. It makes it difficult for someone to do what's called a man-in-the-middle attack, where they actually capture the information going back and forth between you and the website to try and get maybe your credit card information, whatever else it is. Once you're encrypted, it stops that. That's why they want encryption, especially on the checkout pages. So yes, that's why you're getting that warning page. It's better to have one, but so many don't have them still today. Now, to get the green lock, as we see up here on this page, that is not just HTTPS. When you go to that page, the browser itself is looking to see if you have an HTTPS cert, which we're all getting those for free from Hosixi. It then goes over that whole page that's being loaded in and checks for any insecure parts of it, be it links to images, links to other sites, whatever else. I kind of went over this last week. If it finds anything that is not secure, you still will not get that green lock, despite the fact you have a cert, despite the fact it's on HTTPS. But because one link is not secure, you will not get that green lock. So it's on a page-by-page basis. If you want a little bit more detail, I went over a little more last week. Set HTTPS and the OTP destination myself. Yes, you can set HTTPS there, as I've done here. And all that means is that the links in your website are going to be HTTPS instead of HTTP. Because you have a cert, they will resolve correctly. But that does not make your site SSL compliant, which is what the green lock is really meant. Okay. What is better, HTTP or HTTPS to use with using Phantom? As I mentioned last week, I hope you all watched the webinar last week. If I was creating websites in Phantom, I would not do like I did tonight and created HTTP. I only did that for this demo right now. I would create them as HTTPS. Why? Because all the hosting accounts that I'm buying give me free certs. So I have them. All those URLs will resolve. And if somebody comes to it that's not HTTPS, only HTTP, the page will still resolve, but the lock won't be there. Why do I do that? Because it then makes it really easy for me to fully SSL comply my hosting account or my domain. And we're going to get to that part in a second again, too. Okay, could you use Cloudflare? As we said last week, yes, you can use Cloudflare, so that's not a problem, Carl, if you want to get into using their system. It's so easy not to use Cloudflare that it's all up to you how you want to do it. If you've got a host that's giving you the free certs, it's such a snap. So we've now got all our files all created in HTTPS, so we can upload those, but we needed to get back to, we got our pages, we've zipped them up. I'll now grab FileZilla, log into my domain. I like to use an FTP thing when I'm downloading. I find it's a little bit easier navigating things and more, I have more better results. I guess that's the best way of putting it. So I'll come down to housetrain.zip. There's the file that we just created. And I'll put it in here. Drag it across. It's now on my computer. Now, why do I want it on my computer? Because I am going to go into my downloads folder. Now, don't forget, I'm only worrying about if this zip file has thousands of pages and I want to keep them, right? Otherwise, I just wipe them out. That would be my first choice. But if I'm getting lots of really good traffic, I don't want to lose it. I want to keep those pages. I zip them up. Whoops, actually, I want to extract it here. This is where 7-zip is handy because it just does all this for you. And then I can get rid of that zip. So I've got all my files here. And if I open one up in Notepad, we're going to look and we're going to see that all the links are showing, get down here, as HTTP. And this is what we need to correct. If I had thousands of pages, this would take me forever. But we're really lucky because there's a free tool that most of us are using now anyhow called Notepad++. And if you go into the search command or search menu, second one down is Find in Files. I click on that, and here I tell it that I want it to find HTTP://. And I want to replace it with HTTPS://. Don't just do HTTP to HTTPS because just those letters in a combination could be somewhere in the page and it's not in an actual URL. Putting the colon and the double slashes, we know that we're actually looking at a URL because that's all we want to change. And then we want to tell it where these files are that we want it to look in. So we click on here. I go to admin. Whoops, one down, downloads. House trained dogs. Okay. And now I go replace it in files. Are you sure? Yes. Bang, those 3 files are completely replaced now. So now all my files, if we close this window up, and whoops, not there, but here's those 3 pages that I downloaded. Let's open one up in Notepad++ again. Let's go back down the bottom where our URLs were, and here they are. They're all now HTTPS. So we're good. So now all that's left is we have 2 choices at this point. If you only have a few files like me, I could just upload them. If you have thousands, you'll want to archive them, upload it, and unarchive it in your domain. So come back here at this point. We need to go to our domain, wipe out everything that's there. So we right-click, delete, skip, done. So all the files on our domain are now gone. We have nothing left in the root. So we have to come back, and I want these 3 pages over here now. So I'll bring them across. Oh, that was the dumb thing to do. Pardon me. Again, live TV. Okay. File manager. Oh. Security token. Proceed with current request. Oh. Okay, what did I do here? Okay, back to, sorry about that, folks. Back to here. I need to click the upload button first before I upload files. That was my mistake. There we are. We uploaded the pages. Now I want to get rid of that. And we need to upload our new HTTPS site. And so now we will have created a completely HTTPS site with one last thing left to do. If you remember from last week, when we go into our htaccess file and go edit, we needed to put some special code underneath this to make it all work. And you can go back to the last webinar if you need to know more about that code and how we got it. Meanwhile, if I go to Notepad++, where did I hide that thing? That's not it. No. Documents, Phantom. There it is. There's the 3 lines we picked up last week. Need to add that here to our htaccess file and set that close. Okay, here's our domain. As you can see, all we have is our domain name. I've got this left open. So let's have it refresh. You notice it automatically redirected it to HTTPS and it's giving me the green lock now. So that page is good. Remember, SSL compliance is on a page-by-page basis. Here's the 3 pages that we opened up and had a look at. Now if I click on that, it comes up, it's redirected to HTTPS, I get my green lock. And as you can imagine, that's going to happen with the other pages that I uploaded as well. So had we done more than the 3, if we'd done 20,000, this all would be working now. And there I am. There you are. I've taken an HTTP site and I've reset it as HTTPS. But again, if you have a hosting account that automatically puts a cert on every domain you've got, you're silly not to create your OTP domains as HTTPS and adding those 3 simple lines to your htaccess file. It's so easy, and then you have what everybody keeps asking for in a few seconds flat. So that's really all there is to converting an OTP Phantom site. I'm not going to get into trying to convert Hybrid or Devastate or any of that. Much more complex. You're dealing with WordPress, which is a pain in the butt. This is so clean and simple and easy. And I would just suggest from now on, just make your sites HTTPS right from the get-go. So much easier. Could you show how to open the htaccess file? Well, you got to learn how to use your file manager in cPanel. You can get access to your files when you first go into File Manager. Here, let me close this again. There's a settings button in File Manager. I'm going to click on that. This item here, it says Show Hidden Files. It's not selected normally. So when you're looking at it, you don't see the htaccess file or a few other things. So you're a top-notch webmaster and you know everything now. So you got to get in here and click on the show hidden files so you can get it at some of these little bit more problematic files if you make a mistake. Click once your left mouse button and select it. Right click, and you've got all these options that you can do to it. The one you want is edit. Edit the button. And here you are. These 3 lines are the ones that I just added in. When you're done, click Save. I'm just going to click Close because I've already done that. And our site is done. Should you set your WordPress site to HTTPS when creating your site at the beginning? Seeing as I don't use WordPress with Phantom, I really don't care about WordPress sites. You can do what you like with them. You can certainly create them with HTTPS if you'd like. Again, as long as your host is giving you the certs, otherwise you got to go out and buy one or learn to use Cloudflare or all that kind of stuff. But WordPress is something we've got completely away from now. Finally, with Phantom, the search engines just keep coming out over and over and over again, saying that speed is becoming the big thing, and there is no way in heck WordPress pages are going to be as fast as these pages are. I did a quick speed test on a couple of my sites, and they were like 98%. And you're going to be doing some pretty good optimization on a WordPress site to come anywhere close to that. Yep, tired. My head's tired too, and I think it's about time we give up on this. It's been an hour and 12 minutes.
It's been, yeah, we've been right at a little over this time, but I think there was some good content there with helping out a little bit more on the SSL for those that were continued to ask questions after last week. One thing I did want to point out is when Doug was showing that you had to check that option for showing hidden files, that's often the case even if you're using FTP programs. They aren't always set by default to show hidden files either. So either way, you may have to go searching in the settings for how do I show hidden files. Or you could just Google it for most of the programs. If you, let's say I'm using FileZilla, for example, I could just Google how do I show hidden files in FileZilla, and you would get an answer. So with that, unless there's any more pressing questions, we'll be available in the room for a little while, and I'm gonna probably let Doug get some dinner and hang out for a little bit, and then he can come in at the late shift. So y'all have a great night.
Thanks for coming.
Good night, folks. Thanks for coming.